Welcome back, everyone. Today is going to be something a little bit different. So, don't worry, the bird people will return at some point. I'm very busy. I don't have a lot of time for a lot of streaming, but what I do always make time for is playing some Mutu with my brother every weekend, and this time I thought I would do a little bit of preparation for that game on stream for all of you to enjoy. So, we are going to load up our game here. Zapine 37. I am Emperor Bezos of the Amazon. And he is Emperor Men's Agitat of the Cylon. So, the big idea behind this race is I make a lot of money. Big idea behind his race is he's creative, he gets all the tech. Now, before he gets too much of all the tech that he's going to crush me in the endgame, which might not even happen, I have a huge economic advantage over him. But before that can happen, I'm going to use my relative advantages in industrial production and also in tech in some areas to launch a sneak attack on him. So, situation is, right now I have 4 Titans. I have no cloaking tech, and I have antimatter drive, and all of my Titans are over here on the west side of the galaxy. What I intend to do is attack his homeworld with no fewer than 7 cloaked Titans in no fewer than 10 turns from now. That's the plan. Sound issues? Can you hear me okay? Welcome in, by the way. Oh, you can't hear me say welcome in. I think I've got my white noise underneath. Can you hear music in the background? White noise underneath. Oh. You know what I'm gonna try? Hold on. Stand by. Alright, how about now? And all good now. Okay. So what happens is that if my microphone is plugged into my USB hub so that I can use it both on my work laptop and my personal computer, then sometimes that introduces this white noise underneath, and it seemed to have been working fine for a while, but I guess now it came back. So yeah, just plugging it directly into the back of my computer works, and now I'm just gonna have to remember next time I join a meeting that this microphone is not plugged in. Okay, so I think my explanation at the start came through, but it did happen bore there were any viewers here, so I'll just recap what is going on. This is not the game that we were playing last, which will return at some point. This is the current game that I am playing against my brother. Oh yeah, thank you, yeah. So here I am Emperor Bezos of the Amazon, and Graham is playing Emperor Men's Agitat of the Cylon. And right now we are planning an intensive 10-turn operation that is going to require galaxy-scale coordination across the entire empire. So, we're in the situation where we have 4 Titans, all sitting over here on the west side of the galaxy. I have no cloak, I have antimatter drive, and what I am going to figure out how to do is attack him with at least 7 Titans in 10 turns or less, with all cloaked ships. And it's going to be an incredible feat of logistics and vertical integration. Welcome in, Karth. So I have my, I can switch to my notes document here so that you can see exactly what I'm planning. So let me just write down a summary. There we go. Objective. Attack Mentor with at least 7 cloaked Titans within 10 turns. Okay, that's the objective. And now we have to figure out how we're going to do it. I've already thought a little bit about how we're going to do it, but basically we need to work out the details of what everything is going to do. And then if possible, when I'm done that, I'll look at the alternative plan, which is to just take over the whole Klakon Empire, and then maybe consider the trade-offs between those 2 plans here. So first things first, one of these 4 Titans is earmarked to go and fight the... Oh, sorry. I need to switch views. I need to be diligent about that now. One of these 4 Titans is earmarked to go off and fight the Meklar. So we've got 3 to work with here. I'm going to have to build at least another 4, which I calculated I should be able to build with my developed monster planets here. We've got Cathuria, Unscrupulous, Ruthless, and Selfish here. Now, Bumptious is pretty good, but it doesn't have a lot of banked industry right now, so I don't think it can quite contribute to this effort. It could maybe build some destroyers, though, to go along with them. I want to send as many destroyers as possible, too. Now, the way this logistics is going to work is everyone is going to rendezvous at Greedy in 5 turns. At that point in time, I will have an outpost on this red star here. Then everyone will travel to that outpost, and then while they're doing that, I research interphased drive, which is a 1 hop from Zaben, which is 1 hop from Mentar. Welcome in, Caesar7277. So let's figure out, first of all, how that's going to work here. So if we assume the 5 turns to Greedy here is based on these guys needing to take, say, 2 turns to get to Fieras, 1 turn to refit, then 2 turns over to Greedy, that's with Jump Gate. Obviously I have Jump Gate, otherwise there's no point in putting the outpost over here. So, first thing that needs to happen is that someone needs to build an outpost and send it over there. And simultaneously as a backup plan, someone else is going to build an outpost and send it to Praxis, because I actually don't know if there's a place I can put an outpost at this red star. I don't even know what it's called. So Greedy Prime, although I've converted it to a housing planet, has considerable industry bank. So I think what I can do is have them build an outpost. Is Trax Immersion Reserve? Yes, it is. And I was planning on putting this outpost down here so that I could jump gate my ships over there and make a quick capture, but unfortunately they are defended by a battleship, and I cannot place this outpost while they have ships in the system. But yeah, it's a real pain in the butt to try to invade these guys, because as soon as I get any like ground combat tech, Graham gives the same ground combat tech to the people I'm fighting. So I'm always at this disadvantage where I've got my -10 from the low gravity, and they've got whatever bonuses they have, like subterranean and +10. Right, so I'm -30 on the Meklar, I'm -30 on the Mercians, -40 on the Clacons it's going to be. But he's at war with the Clacons, so that's fine. Anyway, point being, these guys are 20 parsecs away from there, so the build plus 4 turns of travel time, that gets us there in time to build that outpost when everyone has rendezvoused. So let's start with this. We're going to say turn 1. Greedy builds outpost. Okay. Then at turn 2, outpost from greedy to, oops. Whoa. I need to be careful that you don't see all of my documents, which such things as recipe book that could incriminate me. Outpost from greedy to unexplored. Okay. And then as a backup plan, I do want somebody to build an outpost and send it to Praxis. So I think Selfish to Praxis is also 4 turns. We could do that. Greedy to Praxis is 3 turns, so I could just build another one at Greedy, actually, which I might do. It all depends on how I want to spend this industry from the various locations, but yeah, I could do that. Right, so turn 2. Greedy builds another outpost, and then is Selfish in the nebula a little? Yeah, that is one thing I would be worried about if I was sending it from Selfish to Praxis, right? I actually don't know. Turn 3, outpost from Greedy to Praxis. Now this whole plan could fall on its face, because I also haven't explored Praxis. So there could be nowhere to put outposts anywhere, and then I just have to like fly them normally, which is fine, right? You can do that, but then I'm gonna waste 2 or 3 turns. So this is a game against my brother, Lightning Darkness 89. This is not a new save. We still have the ship defense build pending, which we'll get back to at some point. This game is Supine 37. Okay. So we have some of our outposts dealt with. Now, this is something I thought of recently, which is that if I just stick an outpost here, it's going to take me like 3 turns to get from Greedy to that outpost, and then attack there. He's going to be really suspicious. Why is this outpost just sitting there? He's going to go, he might blow it up. He is not the Meklar, he is the Cylon. He likes being the Cylon, that's sort of his thing. I'm like the adventurous one, making all of these weird builds, and he just has like variations on tech monster kind of build. This one is quite a bit of a variation, actually, because there's no research bonus aside from democracy. He's heavy gravity. Well, we think heavy gravity is pretty overpowered, but poor homeworld is a funny one. Anyway, yeah. Yes, he does like the default names. He does like the default names, and I always get a little bit more creative with those. Anyway, he's going to get real suspicious if I stick an outpost here. So, my thought was, what if I put some decoy outposts here and here? And then he doesn't know I might going for... Actually, that puts me within 7 parsecs of almost everywhere. Even just this one does that. Right? 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7. Wow. So that's quite a neighborhood. So he has no idea who I'm going after. And then I put one here, and then that could be going to Zabin. It couldn't be going to Subtle, actually. Anyway, I'll put these 3 here, and he won't know which one is the real one. And I might, if I can muster up the industry, I think I want to send them with an armed cruiser. Uncloaked, so that it might actually be a deterrent from him sending dudes, because if those dudes arrive here at the exact turn that my guys show up, it's not a secret, it's not a surprise what I have anymore. And we don't want that. Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look at the history graphs here. So, poor Homeworld is always never worth. Wish Rocco revamped it somehow, maybe throwing in a combo like he did with the AI Nolan Small Guy or the Orion special. Poor Homeworld is pretty bad. I could see it if you have like an actual industry bonus where it's like, okay, I'm getting 4 instead of 5, right? And that's probably not that bad. But yeah, for 3 points? No, man. I'm gonna pick that. Going from 3 to 2, that's too much. Anyway, so population. Our population is insane. And I'll tell you a secret about our population. It is actually all Mechlars. Not all Mechlars. I've got like some Mercians and some Darlocks in here too, but I intentionally populated it mostly with Mechlars, who have been our allies for most of the game. But at the very start of the game, they graciously allowed me the use of their planet at Sadak, which is to say I made them an offer they couldn't refuse. And they acquiesced. And so from that planet, I just populated the whole rest of my empire with Mechlars, which is just insane value considering the picks, right? More population growth, not low G, industry +2, cybernetic, so like I hardly had to farm. And they're also subterranean, so I kept my population advantage. I mean, that was just wild. So that also set me up really strongly. What was I talking about? I was talking about decoy outposts. No, I was showing you the graphs. Let's get back to that. So I have a ton of population because I'm subterranean and he's not, right? Yes, he's not. And we're both population -50, but I'm not population -50. But even if I was, I'm secretly population +50 because it's all Mechlars. So that's the population story, and my population is just going to keep going up. This is a hot seat game. It's not a hot seat game. We do play online on network. I'm just loading it up in hot seat mode so that I can see. Obviously, I only load my side of the save. But yeah, I load up my side of the save and do some planning on it. And of course, he can save it on his side too and look at things on from his point of view. Buildings. Same kind of story. He has deep core mine and core waste dump. But other than that, like, he doesn't have too much else that I don't have. So I'm building mostly the same buildings everywhere, right? I've got all the research buildings. Yeah, and I just have more planets. So that's strong. Now the fleet. The fleet is absolutely insane. So you can't really get a good sense of my income right now because I've got like trade goods. Because like when we're finishing up the game, I just click through all the people who have, all the planets that have finished their production, and they end up being on trade goods when I load it. So that's what these guys are. So they're not really going to be on trade goods. They're also not really going to be building freighters. But I'm going to set them to that just so you can see my actual income here. Honestly, I kind of agree with you. Except that being creative could save him, and my leaders are trash. My ship officers are trash. My colony, I got Rocco literally the turn before I was going to research Federation myself, and I got to have all of that research points, all of those research points back. That was fairly insane. Oh, Biddy Melon, welcome on in. So this is all I have for leaders, and that is not great weaponry, which means that he could have the advantage in terms of initiative when it comes to endgame combat. But during this sneak attack, I'll only have positronic computer. He'll have at least cybertronic, but I will be running with interphase drive, so that's an advantage, and I should have a numerical advantage in terms of the number of ships I'm deploying. Right. And I was still showing the graphs. Yeah, that's insane. I suspect he's like around his command limit here, and I just don't have to even think about my command limit because of how much money I make. Like, it's like I notice it, right? 1800 to 1300 is noticeable, but like for most situations that wouldn't even be feasible. Did he already get evolutionary mutation? Nobody's going for it. He's got his, what's it called? In colony? No, it must be in achievements. I'm looking for universal antidote. There it is. He's got his universal antidote, biomorphic fungi, and bioterminator. So he's researched that tech level. So he's close. I already know what he's going to take for his mutation. We both always take plus 50 ship attack in this situation, because he who has the initiative wins fights. It's just such a powerful stat. And then we're going to look at the tech. The tech, this graph is interesting. All of that difference is basically because he's creative and he got a whole bunch of tech that I missed. He's not really ahead of me in terms of spent research points, right? Like, he's ahead of me a bit in biology because he's gotten this one, and he's ahead of me in construction. He's gotten Star Fortress already, but he's only researched ion in power. We are at the same level for chemistry and computers and fields, and he's way behind me in physics. He doesn't even have graviton physics. Wouldn't Warlord help him more if he doesn't have it? Warlord helps a ton, and it's a tough, it seems like kind of a tough decision to make until you actually have a fight and get decimated by like a fifth the number of ships just because they all get to go before you. Once you've had that experience, then it's not a close call anymore. So we always go for the plus 50. In some situations, if like you're going for a sneak attack with a lot of Titans in this case, I could almost justify telepathic so that I could take him over. What's he using for weapons? Just missiles and fighters? No, he's like borrowed weapons from other people. Like, even though he doesn't have graviton, he's using phasers and neutron blasters. I actually don't know what's on his ship. This is a new run? It is not technically a new run. I've got the old run stored here, but this is a planning session where I'm preparing what I'm going to do next time I'm playing against my brother. So this is a real multiplayer game against a real human, who is my brother. My brother is in fact a real human, despite reports to the contrary. And he's playing these white guys over here, and I'm these orange guys over here. But yeah, I haven't actually encountered any of his warships, so I don't know what he's actually using for weapons. Maybe a mass driver. Maybe a mass driver. Right, so we've seen the graphs, so we understand what they mean. And I was just talking about the decoy outposts that I'm going to send up here. So, to recap, we're putting an outpost here because our jump gate lets us get there faster within striking range. But because that's suspicious, we're also going to put outposts here and here on the same turn. So, we need to look at what kind of industry we have at Leyden and Steinbach. Leyden I managed to capture straight up because I researched Personal Shield the turn that I went and invaded it, and then the turn immediately after, Graham gifts him Personal Shield, and so now I don't have the ground combat advantage anymore. It's really obnoxious. These guys have enough industry they could also build an outpost, so I like that. Leyden and Steinbach build outposts. We send them to these places. Let me research class 1 cloak. That's really important. Once we have that researched, all our non-combat ships get equipped with that cloak automatically. Now, that decreases the range at which they can be detected by 10 parsecs. His detection range with neutron scanner is 5, plus 1 per size of ship, so that's 1 for the outpost, so 6. And then, because he has Star Fortress, that is a plus 6 scanning range, so he can actually see these cloaked outpost ships if they pass within 2 parsecs of any of his colonies. But I think the path from Steinbach to whatever this is, I think that does not go within 2 parsecs of Fulin. And he also just got Star Fortress. I don't think he has one there yet. I don't think he has one anywhere yet, actually. He just got the tech last turn. So, if that's the case, then my outposts are just invisible to him. So let's go back to our worksheet here. We had Steinbach builds outpost and Leyden builds outpost. Okay. Oh, and then 2 outpost from wait. Okay. So we've got that going on. Now the other question is, can I get some cruisers to these locations so that he doesn't go and destroy them or see what's there? Because I think the situation is he almost always has one destroyer sitting around defensively around all of his systems. So I would expect that if an outpost ship just pops up, one or more of those destroyers is going to fly over and see what the heck is going on. If I have a cruiser there, I think he's not going to send a destroyer. So what we can do is we can figure out what would that deterrence kind of cruiser look like. Goblin. Call this the return. Tell him to go away. So battle pods, battle scanner. Because I'm only using positronic and he's going to have small ships, I do want that range master unit, I think. I don't know about augmented engines, maybe. Yeah. And then, let's see, reinforced hull. He's got Achilles targeting unit, so I have reinforced hull. He's got Achilles targeting unit, so heavy armor is not going to do anything. I like how your brother thinks, because I do the same thing, stationing ships on all planets. Yeah, that is kind of something that I should think about doing myself, to be honest. But thing is, he's not like aggressive enough for that to be worth it for me. I'm the aggressive one, so he like, I'll send like frigates out just to like mess with him and blockade him. He mostly won't do that. Is destroying home planet your victory condition or just a cheeky punch in the arm? It is somewhere in between, right? I don't think he's going to surrender if I do that, although he might. But it's pretty big deal if I take out his homeworld. Obviously, it's not game ending. In fact, my homeworld was taken out earlier in this game, not by him, but by like the combination of like Mercians coming in from the north and Darlocks coming in from the east, my east, and just like totally messing me up at the start. Like for a moment, it looked like I was going to lose the whole game before I even made contact with him. But thankfully, I fought my way out of that. But yeah, it's a big deal to lose like your homeworld, especially like for one turn you've got like missing capital. That's a huge morale penalty. Yeah. So I think this is enough to deter. This will destroy one of his destroyers easily. That's what I think. That's what I think. Yeah, this is good. So I'm gonna, can I take like a, let's see how much this costs. I'll just write down the cost of it. The design is gonna be easy to, so let's make some notes. Notes. Return design. How much was it? Wait, where's it? There we go. 580. 580. Okay. So that costs 580. If I put all these guys on industry, with our industry bank, we can build one. That gets us to 643. I don't think I can build another one in the immediate following turn, though. Can I? 643 plus 300. No, I definitely can't. So these guys can do one. So let's actually write that down. For turn 1, Fieras builds the return. Alright. Oops. Okay. So we'll have one. Then that's 3 turns. They can just rendezvous there, right? And then go there in 2 turns. Or they can even wait. But you know what? Okay, yes. So that's exactly what I'm thinking about. I was thinking I don't want it cloaked because I want deterrence against... Okay, I want deterrence against him actually sending his destroyers to see what's going on. Because if he does that, there's a chance that he will see my whole fleet right here. On the other hand, I also don't want him to see the ships going. He's going to see a random cruiser just flying to these locations, these 3 locations. He's going to see it like way before I'm ready to actually attack him. And honestly, if it's... If it's not cloaked, I don't know if I need it. There's so many layers. There are so many layers. Yes, you're right. There are. There's so many layers. This is like the game of, you know, deception and treachery. Use a small destroyer as an uncloaked bait elsewhere and send a cloaked cruiser to defend the outpost ship. Yeah, okay. Yes. I do like that. And not even just one destroyer. What if I, like, just start messing with him? Right? This is plausible, too, right? This is plausible because I just got thorium fuel cells by capturing a Meklar colony. So, it's totally reasonable for me to just build a bunch of expendable destroyers and send them to, like, as many of his systems as possible to blockade. And additionally, to causing chaos, that will give me information about what his defenses are like, maybe what his actual warships have equipped. So that's a great plan. And we could... Right. Both of these guys have a spare turn, at least one spare turn before they need to build their outpost. So, Destroyer could be on the table, right? Destroyer could be on the table. What am I going to call this? Just Gremlin is fine. It's Gremlin. No, what's like, I don't know, Amazon themed name? We'll call it the package. It's not really the package. It's like, you know, when you check out at Amazon and there's this thing that says, like, do you want to get Amazon Prime, and you'll save like $200 million on this order, and like every day for the rest of your life, and it's like this big yellow button that looks like it's the thing you're supposed to click on just to proceed down the page. It's that. What's that called? Alright. Let's design the ship. Battle pods. Check out. Checkout banner. There's not enough room. We'll just call him checkout. We know what we mean. Maybe. And then he'll interpret that as, I'm going to check out his systems. That's good. So, I can't afford to make this heavy, can I? Can I fit augmented engines on here? Yes. Okay, good. What else can I fit? I guess I can put a scout lab now. Alright, so the checkout costs 206. I'm going to make a note of that. So, now we don't know how much the return is actually going to cost because I'm going to need to research Cloak first. But I'm going to load this experimental game that I made where we have basically all the same tech. Oh, blah blah, blah blah. Now I'm going to research Class 1 Cloak. Blah blah. Alright. And now what I can do is I can design the return. So we've got a Class 3 shield, positronic, that's good. We did want probably a scout lab, and I did say range master. Now we're also going to have this cloak, and then phaser. 1, 2, 3 phasers. I almost want to put something else on. I can put a no, I can't afford that. I need more refinements. Oh, battle scanner. Yeah. I feel like you put 10x more into this than he does. Maybe not. So this is a special one because I had this particular idea that I wanted to really dive deep into. Normally I do a bit of prep, and I kind of map out like what's my next research going to be for the next few turns, what's my next things not to forget for the next few turns. But usually not like a very detailed galaxy-wide plan 10 turns ahead. That's fairly unusual. Oh. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, it's exactly the same cost. It is exactly the same cost. Alright. So, I just want to be able to see my actual income here. So, now we know that. So we've got 206 for our destroyer and... Oops. 206 for our destroyer and 580 for our cruiser here. So if I'm going to defend any of them, I'm going to have to defend all of them, because it's suspicious if he goes to all of them and finds just one of them defended. He'll know that that's the real one. In fact... Okay. I just had a brilliant idea. I'm only going to send a cruiser to defend this one. It's in such a good location, just the middle of everything. He's not going to know where I'm going to strike. He's going to imagine that I'm thinking he's not going to know that that one is like the defended one. So if he does happen to send ships there and notices that there's just a cruiser here, he'll think that's the one. And that one is out of range of the system that I'm actually trying to attack. Okay, so here's the plan. VRS is going to build one return. Do you both play with monsters on? Yeah, we play with like random events and Tarans. We just turn off Orion because otherwise it just becomes a race to go and capture Orion. Yeah, that's the situation. So a few of my planets here are strong monster planets, including one that I just captured from the Meklar, and which I'm about to populate with a huge number of Meklars. Any of those unscouted planets can have one? No. In theory, yes, any of them could have one. In practice, by now, they're all been captured. I mean, I guess there's a shot that, like, up here could be one. Or, like, one of these. Because sometimes the AI is weird about that. But, like, none of these. These are definitely not monsters. At turn 183, they're definitely not monsters. Yep. Okay, so I have VRS building the return. So, let's do what we can to build a whole bunch. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How were we saying? Like, uncloaked destroyers, just send them everywhere. Now, how long does it take anyone, a random destroyer, to get here? And then we've got the... That nebula's a real pain, man. That nebula is a pain. I can send it to, like... a bunch of these places, but I would want to coordinate it so that it's all kind of coming in at the same time-ish. Because I don't want his fleet to just run around, like, picking off my destroyers one at a time either. It's nice if I actually do get to blockade some of his systems for a few turns. So... So this turn we are going to build the destroyers. From here to Sung, that's 4 turns. Okay. So they would get there at the turn that... Okay. Okay. Nobody builds Artemis System Net, right? That's how you had it. So until recently there was a bug where Artemis System Net would destroy different ships on different people's clients. So I would see that, say, my battleship got destroyed, and he would see that another battleship, like my cruiser, got destroyed, and then in combat he would just spend forever waiting for me to move the ship that actually got destroyed on my side, but didn't get destroyed on his side, and so combat would stall out. And so we banned Artemis System Net, but we have recently unbanned it because I'm pretty sure they fixed that. Also, Artemis System Net is good now. I'm pretty sure it's way buffed in this. I don't exactly remember before. I remember it being like pretty lame before, and now it's actually really good. It'll just straight up destroy people. Is it worth it to have 2x outposts, one where you said, and another on the planet west to Ursa? So he'll be a pinch due to your jump gate. Yeah, so what I do want to do is outpost here, here, and here. This one's going to have the cruiser defending it to make it seem like it's the real one. That's the plan of record right now. So what we can do at Leyden and Steinbach is we can actually just make the destroyers right now. So all we need is, okay, if I make a destroyer, that's 208. I can just buy that. I'm more than half anyway, so that's good. And let's see, how many places do I think I could get to in like 5 turns, or like 6 turns maybe? I could give myself 6 turns. Because there I could build, go, yeah, I can do that. Babylon could take Ursa, Miserly could take Kokba, Greedy could take Fulin, or Seki maybe. Can Rukubi take Fulin? Yes, by going to Steinbach first, 2 turns. Then Steinbach to Fulin 2 turns. So, okay. If I give myself 6 turns, I can cover Sung, Andoria, Morag, Ursa, Fulin, Kokba, Seki, and all of them arriving on the same turn, trying to blockade. So let's make that the plan here. So Leyden and Steinbach, not going to turn 1 outpost. We are going to take this and put it here. Take this one and put it here. And then, okay, Leyden builds checkout. Steinbach builds checkout. Fieras builds checkout. Now I have Fieras double booked, but it's fine because there's 5 planets there. I'm sure one of them is going to be able to manage a checkout if this guy's building the return. So, who else did I say was working on this? Babylon, Rukubi, Miserly. Oh, I've got 2 at Miserly. I've got 2 that could do it. So how many did I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, what about Greedy is so... No, That's going through the nebula for sure. Okay. Okay, I think I have to stick with these guys. Okay, so Leyden, Steinbach, Fieras, Babylon, Miserly, Rukubi. Babylon, Miserly, times 2. I'm interrupting their development for this, but it's worth it for a good bait. And then I said Rukubi. Yeah, I just wrote that. So then the way we're going to coordinate that is I've agreed give myself 6 turns. Yeah, because we can't get to all of these places. But if I did just 1 fewer of these, then I could do it in 5 turns. And then they arrive on the same turn that the outpost shows up, which is kind of nice, because then he's running around. He's not going to be thinking about the outpost, he's going to be thinking about how he stops that blockade. And maybe already having committed to that, so let's just do Miserly times 1, and then we'll have to leave off like in Doria maybe. Okay. And on the next turn, right, Miserly to Seki, that would be 4 turns, good. 4 turns, 4 turns, 4 turns, 2 turns, and 2 turns. Okay, so that's good. So on the second turn, we go check out from Steinbach to Sung, check out from Leyden to Morig, check out from Fieras to Ursa, was it? Yeah. And who was going to Kokba? Miserly, okay. Babylon to Fullen, and then Greedy to Seki. Why do I feel like I'm missing something? Oh, because Greedy isn't building one of these. That's what I'm missing. Greedy's not building one of these. So Babylon to Fullen, yes. No. Miserly to Seki, that's what it is. And Babylon is going to Kokba. From Rukubi to Steinbach, and then 2 turns later, sorry, let me open this up, turn 4, check out from Steinbach to Fullen. Okay, now we're talking. Right, because this is 4 turns. 4 turns. 4 turns. Wait, no. 4 turns, yes. 4 turns, yes. 4 turns. 2 turns and 2 turns. Okay. So that's the logistics. We get to go for 6 of them. Wish there was a way to force any percent you want of the galaxy map to have a nebula. It would make things far more interesting. Any percent you want of the galaxy map to have a nebula. You mean like have lots of nebulas kind of all over sort of thing, or have less? You know, I bet that there's actually a setting in the mod. I bet there's a setting for that. I bet you can say like how frequently they show up. I haven't messed around with any of the galaxy generation parameters, but they can definitely change a lot of things, like the frequency of different star types, different planet types, distributions, conditioned on the star type and all that kind of thing. Probably nebula black hole frequency is in there. Wasn't that hard-coded? I don't know. You probably know better than me, actually, because I have not dug into that stuff at all. Black hole, I bet, is like... Well, I don't know. I won't speculate. But if I was speculating, I would say black hole is probably just like another star type. And nebula, I don't know. I don't know. Ask on the Discord, maybe. Okay, so. The bait is there. Bait is there. Fieris is building the return on turn 1. It could build the return on turn 2, right? So I could just use the same one. Return from Fieris to Steinbach. Oh, the return has to be cloaked, so of course we have to... We can't do it, we don't have cloaks yet. So Fieris now builds the return on turn 2. And on turn 3, return from Fieris to Steinbach. We can delay... Hold on, I need to check this. What's the distance here? Oops, F9. Okay, that's 3 turns. That's 3 turns. So we can... Oh. No, that's 3 turns. I don't like that. Wait. This doesn't work. Steinbach has to build the return. Steinbach has to build the return. Fieris can build the outpost. Okay, so turn 1. But Steinbach is building a checkout, which means that it can't bank industry. Well, we'll have 140 banked, but that's nowhere near half. It could also be laden? No. Research, build, 1, 2, 3. That's what I have to do. Steinbach is the only place I can build it. Yeah, Steinbach is the only place I can build that. Okay. So now I need to calculate how much is it going to cost if I have 140 production in the bank. And I'm buying something worth 580. So 580, of course, the first half is worth the 580. So divided by 2, then minus 140, and I think, no, minus 140. So I think this will be 5x times 5. So 750 plus 580. Oof. That's going to be expensive. So it's going to cost me 1330 to buy the return at Steinbach. Okay, so I just have to make sure that I have that much money in the bank 1 turn from now. That's no problem. I'm making more money than that, so I can hardly fail to have that much money in the bank. So, turn 1. Steinbach builds checkout. Buy. Fieras builds checkout, but Fieras also builds outpost. Steinbach builds return, buy, and then outpost from Fieras to... Sorry, I'm really bad at switching views here. Steinbach. Okay, did that check out? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got our 6 checkouts. Fieras is building an outpost, right? There's enough planets that we can do both. Then we'll have class 1 cloak, which means that we can design the return. We can buy the return at Steinbach, which is the only place close enough to get it to that central unexplored system in time. And then, there we go, turn 3, outpost, and return from Steinbach to unexplored. Okay. And now if we're timing this so they all arrive at the same time, that only takes 2 turns, so we can delay the outpost from Leyden by 1 turn. Right, we can set that out at turn 4. Wait, hold on. I already have Leyden from... That'll only take 2 turns. Hold on. I need to fix my turn numbering here. Maybe this will help me make more sense of it. So at turn 2, we send them. It takes 3 turns. They arrive on turn 5. Okay, I think that makes sense. So let me move this from here to here. Then they'll arrive at the same time. Greedy builds another outpost. Outpost from Greedy to Unexplored. Outpost from Greedy to Praxis. Turn 2, that takes 3 turns. It arrives turn 5. This one takes 4 turns. It arrives turn 5. Okay. Things are making sense. And these are all 4-turn traversals. So they leave on turn 1, they arrive on turn 5. Everything makes sense. Okay. Okay. Man, we've really been going here. So, I think that's everything regarding the bait, the outposts, the pretend protection of the outposts. Because remember, as soon as I send my ships through the Stargate, it doesn't matter if the Stargate gets destroyed on the other side. Right? They're still en route. They're going to make it. So that's fine. Even if he comes here and destroys this outpost, it's fine. Okay, so now what we need to do is we are planning how we are going to get at least 7 cloaked titans to rendezvous at Greedy in 5 turns. Right, so on turn 5, or is it on turn 4? Now I'm getting confused again. So it's turn 0, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, refit, turn 4, turn 5. And he's there. Right? Turn 0 is now, he's here. Turn 1, he's there. Turn 2, he's there. Turn 3 is there. Turn 4 is there. Turn 5 is there. Turn 5, we send them out. Okay, so that does make sense. So remember, turn 5, send attack fleet from Greedy to outpost near Zaven. It's called Zaven, right? Zaven. Alright. So that's our plan. And then the question is, how do we implement that bit? So this guy, I have the idea. He's going to go to Fieris. We're going to refit at Fieris. Then we're going to go to Greedy, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Now, one of these Titans that I'm going to produce, or that I already have, that is specifically for fighting the Mechlar. Actually, I'm going to share this excellent strategy I have for fighting the Mechlar with you. So, last couple of fights I had, these Titans are pretty fast. They have augmented engines and antimatter drive, 16 combat speed. What I found was, after the second movement, they always arrive with just one space of space between them and the Mechlar orbital defense, which means that I can't capture it. So we're loaded up with neutron blasters, we're killing all the crew, and then we're just like one space away, and it fires its heavy plasma cannons and it blows up a battleship or something. So that's not great. So the plan is we are going to underload it. And if you underload it by at least more than 150, you get an extra combat speed. So I'm going to use my underloaded Titan, one single solitary underloaded Titan. And because it's the biggest ship in the fleet, it's guaranteed to be sitting right there in the middle, where it wants to be. And we're going to use that to go up and capture the enemy base in just 2 turns. That's the plan. So that's what we need one Titan for over on the west side. And so then the question is, how are we going to get 7 Titans over on the east side? And a big part of it is I have so much industry banked up that these guys can build a Titan just in 1 turn. Of course, they're not going to build it this turn. We need to research the cloak first. But then that is a 3-turn travel time to Greedy. So we can afford to wait 1 turn, build, and then go to Greedy, right? So, on turn 2, no, sorry, on turn 1, because we are now on turn 0, Ruthless builds a Titan. We'll call it a troll because that's what it is. And then so Cathuria is here. It's got quite a bit. What's the distance to there? Okay, it's 2, so basically we can afford to say 1 Titan goes here, right? We refit the Titan, and then we build the Titan. I don't know how much it's going to cost to refit that Titan. I need to figure that out. We refit that Titan, and then we build another Titan here, and then we send the Titan. So I think that's going to be the play here, because at Unscrupulous, I basically just want to build a new Titan and then send it against the... How long is it going to take to build a new Titan? I don't know. Well, either way... Oh, okay, that's the only one I could get to Cathuria to do the refit, though. That's a little tricky. You know, it doesn't have to get refit at Cathuria. Let me figure out how much this refit is going to cost. So... this guy... Go to design screen. So if I just don't do anything, the refit costs 450. If I say, okay, I'm going to add like a shield capacitor. Right. Something like that. Like 480. I think it's going to be like in the 500s. I think it's going to be in the 500. We're going to add some... These guys, it ends up being 500. Might be a little more expensive because Cloak is a new tech. I don't exactly know. But I think we can estimate, like, let's be conservative and say like 600 to refit a troll. If we plan based on that, I think we're not going to be disappointed. So the question is, does anybody have anything approaching the banked industry it's going to need? Ah, what if I use Bumptious for that? 1, 2, refit, 1, 2. That's good. Okay. That gives us something to do with these guys, because otherwise they weren't really contributing. So, turn 1, turn 0. Troll from unscrupulous to bumptious. Right. And then on turn 2, bumptious refits troll. And on turn 3, troll from bumptious to greedy. Good. And we have a similar story with the one around tracks. So troll from tracks to Fieris. On turn 2, Fieris refits troll. On turn 3, troll from Fieris to greedy. Okay. So that's 2. Well, that's good. We know how we are going to get 2 trolls to greedy. Actually, hold on. What about Ruthless? On turn 1, Ruthless builds a troll. On turn 2, troll from Ruthless to greedy. Okay, we know how we're going to get 3 trolls. Okay, now we've got a bunch of trolls orbiting Rukubi. How are we gonna refit these and get them over there? These guys don't have a starbase, these guys don't. Maybe Greedy itself. What do I have Greedy signed up for? For building wise. Greedy is building 2 outposts. That is 400. We can like put more workers on Greedy, have it bank industry until turn 4, and have it refit one of the ships. I think that's reasonable. I'll have to schedule that, but yeah, let's do that. What's my freighter situation? I only have 5? Okay. Well, 5 is still reasonable. So, okay. I can say 5 Meklar from miserly to greedy. And then after I finish greedy, okay, then we say greedy starts banking industry. Turn 4, greedy refits a troll. A troll. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. But there's another troll sitting at Rukubi that we need to figure out what to do with. We have a starbase here, but we don't have any industry banked. Fieris is kind of overloaded. There's only 1 starbase there anyway. Miserly doesn't have any bases. Could they build one? These guys are doing 129. Not really. Well, okay, hold on. Yeah, not really. Because it's 600, remember, to refit the troll. What if, like, these guys just started banking industry now? right? At turn 0, Panthera starts banking industry, let's say. Theoretically. Someone goes from Rikubi to Panthera in 2 turns. Okay. And 188 times 3 plus 55 is more than 600? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. So we could do that. We could use Panthera here. Okay. So, turn 0. Troll from... Where do I have them? Rikubi. Troll from Rikubi to Greedy is one of them. Right, and then we said we're going to refit the troll. And then troll from Rikubi to Panthera. It arrives on turn 2. Panthera refits a troll. Panthera starts banking industry. Panthera refits a troll. Turn 3. Troll from Panthera to Greedy. Okay. So, if I look at 2 Greedy. 1. Okay. 1. Okay, the Mechlars isn't one, but that's 5 trolls that we've figured out how to get there. Okay. This guy, these 2, this one, and new build at Ruthless. Now, new build at Cathuria. I don't know how fast we get this, but I could always buy it, so let me think. Assuming that the eventual troll costs about the same amount, about 3,000. My time limit is... I can wait. I can bank industry for 2 more turns. And then send it there. Then build. Then send. So if I did bank industry at this rate for 2 more turns, I could even do this if I had to. 618. But let's see what it is if I do 595. 15, 26 plus 595, I said. Times 2. So it's banking industry now. And build. Oh yeah, if I have 3 turns to build that. Yeah, I definitely get that. In fact, I can keep building transports every turn and still do that. So no worries about that. Okay. Cathuria builds something less than equal to 100 industry, just to remind myself that it is still banking to build the troll at turn 2. Cathuria builds a troll. And then troll from Cathuria to Greedy. Okay, good. And then my final monster planet that I think can contribute something to this. Unscrupulous is building a troll that's going to go off and fight the Mechlars, so forget about Unscrupulous. The other place is Selfish. Selfish is doing 804 right now. Actually insane. Alright, you know what else is insane? How dry my throat is getting. I'm gonna grab some water and be right back. Stand by. Alright, we're back. So we have Selfish. And you know what the fantastic thing about Selfish is? I think they could build 2 Titans in this time frame. Don't you think? Because we can build one right now, like immediately. And then, like, how long does it actually take? Okay, build time of 4. No, we can't actually. Maybe if we got enough money and, like, we bought it. Oh, it doesn't have a space academy either. But that's fine. That's only 100. So, oh, I need to double check. Surely. Okay. Yeah. Well, space academies, of course, because I'm not dumb. Okay. So I guess turn 0. Selfish builds Space Academy. Then it's going to build a troll. Yeah, obviously you can't build it this turn anyway because we don't have the cloak. Hello, McFly? Anyone home? You wouldn't want my troll to get detected, would you? Selfish builds a troll. Now the question is it going to be able to build another one in time? Hold on. This is 3 turns with the jump gate. This is also 3 turns with the jump gate. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong here. Okay. Antimatter drive plus jump gate is 9. 2 turns is 18, 3 turns is 27. Anything between 19 and 27 is 3 turns, which means that even Panthera could send it straight there. So we actually have a turn of flex at Panthera, now that I think of it, because we can go straight from Panthera to here. If we are at Praxis, then that's 2 turns, that's 2 turns. So we don't want to use that in case we have to use the outpost at Praxis. Yeah, so let's try not to use that flex turn for the troll at Panthera. But that means that on turn 4, Selfish could build another troll. And I think it can do it. Yeah. Because assuming we have 5 turns, it's 4 turns to build that. Yeah. That's pretty safe. Let me just calculate. 2283 plus 800 times 5. That is over 6,200, which is plenty for building 2 trolls and a Space Academy. So that's what we can do with Selfish. Selfish builds a Space Academy. Selfish builds a troll. Troll from, we don't even need to do this, but greedy, we might as well. And then Selfish starts building another troll. Send, make sure Selfish finishes troll. Send troll from selfish to outpost near Saban. Alright. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good plan. So, if we look at all the trolls getting to greedy, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then another one from selfish, we are going to be able to get 8 trolls. We are going to be able to get 8 trolls, guys. Those 8 trolls are arriving at this location in 8 turns. The Octo. Yes, the Octo. The 8 trolls. Now the next thing we need to think about is how we are going to get... Well, maybe not the next thing. Hey, there are 2 more things we need to think about. Number 1. How do we get interphased drive by the time all of these trolls arrive? Sorry, I was pointing at the map and you couldn't see it. How do we get interphased drive by the time all of these trolls arrive at this system, so that they have a 1-turn hop from here to here? Or by the time they get here and then it's a 2-turn hop from here to here, which is like actually more pressure if I need to do that. So, but anyway, that would be 7 turns, that would be 8 turns. Let's assume that we need to have our interphase drive ready in 7 turns. We will know by turn 5 whether or not that's true, and then we can ease off the research points if we can afford to, I think. So, let's map out all the tech that we need to get. So, important thing. Once you exceed this research point value, I'm sure everyone here knows this, but I will explain it. Once you exceed this research point value, there is a chance that you are going to get the tech. But that chance does not reach 100% until you double this research point value. So on average, you're spending 1.5 times the value for the field, but at most, you're going to spend double the value for the field. So if I'm talking about guaranteeing that I can get interphase drive by a certain point in time, that means I need to accumulate enough research points to guarantee that I double the research points for all the fields I have to research. So, let's do the math here. I have a spreadsheet for this very purpose. Okay. So, we have class 1 cloak. We have, what do I want to research in the... I don't know if I want energy absorber or high energy focus yet, but we'll call it high energy distribution. Then we've got, what, hyper power, or what is it called? Hyperdimensional fission and interphased fission. Okay. Hyperdimensional fission, interphased fission. So, the listed price, 2,000, 6,000, 7,500, 10,000. This times 2. Yes, I take the autofill, and then yes, okay. So 51,000 research points. And there is a way to accelerate this further if I want to leave behind the guy at Selfish, because we can't do this. So, if I got hyperdrive by the time everyone rendezvous at Greedy, then this only takes 2 turns. And that means I can attack Zaben on turn 8 and Mentar on turn 9, but I have to leave one Titan behind, and I have to not research HyperX capacitors, which is a really good tech. Like, by the end of the game, all of his ships, I'm already down Achilles targeting unit and structural analyzer because of going for Auto Lab and Galactic Cybernet, and he just didn't have to make that trade-off. So there he is with all of that. High energy focus. Other people have high energy focus besides him, so I'm optimistic I could get it even if I went for energy absorber. But that's another really good one. So by the end of the game, this is what he's basically going to have in all of his ships. It's like battle pods, battle scanner, augmented engines, phasing cloak, and then Achilles targeting unit, structural analyzer, high energy focus, and then either HyperX capacitors or time warp facilitator if he has it. Probably, honestly, he just goes for like HyperX capacitors. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't want to give up HyperX capacitors, and I'm not going to have time warp facilitator because I'm probably going to get Stargate. Anyway, it's a tough decision. But there is that option. Go for hyperdrive. By turn 5, and then we get their turn earlier. But if I did that, okay, this decoy is all happening at turn 5, so it doesn't affect any of my plans around the decoy or anything like that. It just accelerates things. The thing that I am scared of, though, with that plan, and I think this is ultimately kind of the deciding factor for me. Okay, this is... Oh no, wait. Oh no, hold on. Oh no. I think I have to do it. I think I have to go for hyperdrive. Okay, let me explain myself. So I place this outpost, right? The same turn I place this outpost, I can send the guys from here to here, right? I can send them. But he can't see it yet. He can only see it next turn. And then that turn, he will send his destroyers from Zaven and Subtle to go check it out, is what's going to happen. And then I sent my guys one turn earlier, ETA 3 turns. He sends his guys ETA 2 turns. They're going to arrive at the same time. They are going to arrive at the same time if I don't get hyperdrive. So that means I need to get hyperdrive for this to work. Because if we arrive at the same time, I lose the element of surprise. He knows I'm here. He knows the only place I can reach from here is Zaben. So now I think we have to go for hyperdrive. That means that if I want this guy, it's selfish. Okay, that's one turn. Thankfully. That means I might need to buy that on turn 4 just so that I can get it there. And that's going to cost me like 1,600. So, going back to my... Oh. Ugh. Sorry, the stupid spreadsheet was up for that entire explanation. But you know what the place I'm talking about, right? He's going to come from here to here. That takes 2 turns. I'm going from here to here. That's 3 turns. I have 1 turn head start. We arrive there at the same turn. So I need this to be a 2-turn jump. Hyperdrive plus jump gate is 10 parsecs a turn. I can get there in 2 turns before his destroyer shows up to destroy my outpost and see my whole fleet. That's the explanation. So, getting back to the plan then. Make sure Selfish finishes Troll. Okay. Make sure I will be able to afford to buy... I have to do that here. To buy a troll at selfish next turn. Buy troll at selfish. Troll from selfish to greedy. Okay. That's how we're getting our 8 titans. Alright. I think that all makes sense. Now, back to the tech discussion here. So I've got the constraint, yes, that I need 51,000 research points over 7 turns. But I also have the constraint that the first 5 turns... Oh, come on. In the first 5 turns, I have to be getting at least 31,000. So, equals this divided by 5. This equals this divided by 7. So this is obviously the stronger constraint. If I am making pace with like my 7,286 research points a turn, then, and I do that just the whole time, straight up, then I can easily get this. But I do have a bit of flexibility to backload some of that research. And for example, one reason I want to do that is that Panthera is one of my research colonies. It is producing, 330. We lose almost 300 of that while they're banking industry and then building business. That's 3 turns that I'm losing 300. And then I'll put them all back again afterwards, right? And I have the option to flex around on these guys. At some point I need a galactic cybernet here, so that, yeah, maybe I'll build a galactic cybernet right away, so that these guys can also flex onto research later on. But what I'm going to try to do is get, like, at least... Oh my goodness, I did it again. These guys can flex onto research. These guys at Panthera are doing 300 research. These guys need the galactic cybernet so that they can flex onto research. Doing multiple screens is annoying, man. I'm gonna like figure out just a multi-view layout next time instead of switching layouts all the time. It's just obnoxious. Okay. Next time. I'm gonna do this again. Yeah, Operation Same Day Shipping is gonna be next. Okay. So, these guys can't build a Titan immediately this turn. But if they do a bit of work, they could build one in like 2 turns, right? No, not really. That's a little bit tricky. Also, why a Meklar there? Why is there a Meklar farmer? That's not right. I do still need to figure out how the heck I'm going to get my Titan over here in time. It's fine if this guy takes 3 turns to get a Titan, because we need to bulk up our transport capability. Well, we have a lot of transports here. Boom. And then that's going to be 3 turns. I don't want to wait that long, right? If I had this next turn, then I attack in 4 turns. Oh wait, hold on. The underfilled troll is cheaper. The underfilled troll is cheaper. Okay. So let's pretend. Let's make believe we have underfilled our troll. And then it does get done in 2 turns. Okay. Did I have anything... was Was I scheduling unscrupulous for any industry, though? I don't think I was, right? I was saving it specifically for this. Yeah, that's right. Nothing. So, industry maxes to build underfilled troll in 2 turns. Then, of course, I'll have to change design control at unscrupulous to use cloak. So I think I do want that. I don't necessarily want that. That's optional. It's not even related to this operation. It's just what I need to do on the side to make sure I keep winning over here. Okay, so that's a good thing to do. So then the question is, how do I want to manage my research, right? What is it going to take for me to get up to this much? Well, okay. What we can do is, and make sure it builds. Now unscrupulous builds galactic cybernet. That's going to allow us to flex up from industry to research. So remember, these guys are waiting 1 turn, then building. We could already flex a lot over to research here, right? Like, even just like 300 is enough, right? Because we build a transport, and then we just build a troll next turn, is the idea. So on turn 0, I can flex Ruthless onto research. Ruthless at 500 research points. Yeah, that's enough to build the transport and then the troll. And what else could I do here? Because I do need to stay above that magic number 6,200. I definitely still need to stay above that for the first 5 turns, say. So Cathuria, it's got its galactic cybernet. But we need all of this industry to build the troll. So I can switch it to research. That's 655. I can switch it after it builds the troll. Cathuria builds troll. Okay. Cathuria 650 RP. Let me actually check what's the difference, right? 55 is the baseline there. Okay. Okay, that's easy to remember. So assume that that's right. Okay. We assume that's from a baseline of about 5,000. That's tough. So even if I did that now, 650, 500, that would only just get me to what I need to average over the entire time. That barely gets me there. Which means that I need to find places right now where I can front load more research. For example, not those guys, that's a bad example. And these guys are already doing about as much research as they can, considering their considerable industry requirements, right? Like, what is Fieras doing? Fieras needs to build a check out and then an outpost. Oh, those are happening at different planets, though. So it's spending about 200, and then spending about 600 on the refit at turn 2. We can't really afford to reduce the amount of industry we're doing here. Right, because... yeah. If I do the math here, we need to spend 800 by 3 turns, so 343 plus 94 times 3. That's not even enough. Like, I need more industry here. So, okay, I think what it's going to be is these guys aren't even going to do the industry. It's going to be these guys. It's going to be 2 and 3. So let me specify that. And then Fieris 4 can keep on doing its research. So, yeah, there we go. Fieris 4 can keep on doing research and keep a fairly low profile on its industry. Alright. So, let me see, who's like low on industry but not on like the bottom. I wish these guys had... What was I doing with these guys? I was doing a refit with them, right? And if all I'm doing is a refit, I could afford to build some research. Yeah, I can afford to build research buildings there. So how about turn 0? Galactic Cybernet at Bumptious. Turn 1. Supercomputer. Then we refit the troll. Then we build the research lab. Research. The question is, how much is it going to be able to? That's my notes here. How much? Honestly, like 600. After I build the Galactic Cybernet, I could put some over onto research. But it's probably more efficient to front load the industry here. Galactic Cybernet's going to be 300. Supercomputer 150, Research Lab 60. Wait, where did it go? Why is it gone now? Okay, here we go. $300 plus 600 plus 150 plus 60. So in 4 turns it needs 110. Minus banked industry, which is 351. Okay. So right now it's doing 622 out of the 759 that it needs. So actually, yeah, I could move about that many. Even that many, yeah. So on turn 1 I can do that. On turn 1 with just Galactic Cybernet I can move almost everybody over. And that's going to be an extra... how many dudes are here? Okay, I can do the math. It's 26. It's going to be an extra 26 times 3. Times 2.5. So another 195. Oh, so it's basically doubling it. That's nice. And then it'll double it again once we get the others. So it'll be 390 RP. About 390 RP there. That's good. That's good. So, let's see what we have so far. Man, this is turning into actual math. Alright. So, we're starting with 5,000. Then on this turn we are adding, no, turn 0 we're adding another 500. Turn 1 we are adding 390. Okay, let's carry this over. 390, that'll be easier to do the math. Then turn 3. We get 650. This is going to turn into a lot more than 390, so it's going to become 6 times 2 times 2.5 plus 195. That's going to be 325 here. Sorry, 325. Oh, 130 plus 390. 520. And then 780. And it's not even counting the static research from those buildings. Okay. So. This is what we got so far. And then we say equals that sum, drag that over, equals that divided by 5. Oh, it's enough! Okay, so that already gets us to hyperdrive. Guaranteed. Sorry, again, I'm constantly forgetting to switch views, and I apologize for that. But basically, I set up my spreadsheet here. We have our base 5,000, and then the extra we get from Ruthless, Bumptious, where was this? Where I said I could do 650, Cathuria, right? And that adds up to an average of 6254. So, sum of all of this, that's only 6930. If I only got that far, I would need this to go all the way up to 10,000 to guarantee the interface drive in 2 turns. And that's a lot, so I want to front load more of those research points. So that means looking for opportunities to, I could increase this number, for instance. So for instance, wealthy. There's absolutely no reason that with this research crunch that these guys should not all be doing research. Hold on. Did I accidentally put... Yeah, I put those guys there. So that gets us to 5066. These guys at exploitative, they could absolutely do just research. Ruthless Prime, that is. Yeah, they could just do research. It gets us to 5200. People more on the east side, I kind of want to use some of their industry, if possible, to build a bunch of destroyers, and that's the next thing to think about. but obviously the top priority, so 5229, right? And then that all adds up to that. So, wait, where'd my sun go? But now if I extend this down a couple of more turns, it averages 69.77. That's almost good enough, right? You extend that down, that's almost good enough. Where does this sum keep going? Am I absolutely losing it here? Okay. Right, okay. And that doesn't need to add up to quite 10,000 because we'll have done an average of more than this each turn. We have some leftover that's going to get applied to the interface drive. Okay, that's fine. So what I need to do, this number is already high enough. I need to get this number high enough. Alright. So what else do I have that can flex over to research? I've already calculated Cathuria, Ruthless. Selfish is booked up on building trolls. Bumptious I've dealt with. Miserly doesn't... It's still developing, although I could use it if I needed to. Fieris is booked. Let me think. There's places where I could use farmers. Oh man, but I'm already low on freighters, and I booked 5 freighters already, so like somebody's actually got to farm somewhere if all of this is gonna work. Yeah, so like that guy has to go there. Oh, that's annoying. Right, places that are importing food here. So food, people who are low on food, who are importing food. Bumptious can do a bit of farming, probably. And Exploitative could do farming. Or what about Unscrupulous? What's Unscrupulous? Oh, that's why. This is the whole problem here. Unscrupulous needs to build this troll. And that means I had to take the guys off farming, and that means a lot of freighters being used. However, I only need these guys, I only need those 5 freighters available for 1 turn, and then all of a sudden, 8 or 9 freighters are going to become available. Like fleets of freighters, so... At that point, I think that balances out in the wash. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to say, okay, yes, we take those guys off, but... And we won't be able to do that, but we'll make up for it by moving even more guys off of farming later. Yeah, so then it comes down to these guys. And I would just love for these guys to be able to build a whole bunch of destroyers to escort my titans over to Mentar, right? Because I have this nice destroyer design that is just full of graviton bombs and has augmented engines, and they're just going to run up and like 2 turns or 3 turns in at most, they are just unloading bombs onto the planet. And if I can do a bunch of these, and if I can have them cloaked so that it's hard for his ground batteries to just shoot them all down, I think we're going to have a lot of success actually taking out his planetary defenses. So that is why I'm hesitant to pull these guys off of this. However, after turn 4, there's no reason not to, right? So let's see what it looks like if I do. What Sadak is doing. Oh, Fieras, Nazin. Right? If I do that, starting from this turn, what was my number? 5691. Okay. And if I set this to 5691, we are not. Oh, that's because I set it there, but not there. Oh, we are so close. We are actually so close. Okay. So, okay, let's update the plan. Turn 4. A lot of people are still building those destroyers, but turn 5. No, it's the other way around. Turn 4. Full research on all research. Okay, if we add that to the plan, we get this average number of research points. Oh, I might as well just show the sum too. Hold on. Oh, I'm dumb. I'm hugely dumb. Okay. We are not close. We are not at all close. Because I'm dumb. And it's a good thing I just showed the full quantity of research points because yeah, now it's really obvious that that's not enough. But why isn't it enough? Why is it so far from being enough? This is the sum of all of this. That's the sum of all of that. Ah, that is not the sum of all of that. That's the problem. Yes. Okay. Okay. These numbers look same now. 28 to 30. 28 to 34. Yeah. Okay. Okay, these are the same numbers. These are the right numbers. And I am actually close. But I'm not there yet. So I need to find another way to get some research points. Suppose we have someone like Leiden. Okay, they already have a research lab supercomputer. They have some tasks, but after the tasks are done, nothing's stopping them from just building a galactic cybernet. So, Leiden builds checkout, Leiden builds outpost, and now Leiden builds galactic cybernet. And what that's going to do for us Leiden research, and we're going to figure out just how much research that is. So currently we have this. Ooh, there's a Concord penalty, but basically we can assume it's like it's going to be another 66. 7 is 0.5. But then we can say it's like 0.2. Okay. So times 2. So that's going to be 406 research points by my calculations. 406 RP. So 0, 1, 2, add that to the spreadsheet. Around here. 406. 62. Just these. Divided by 7. Okay. Sum these. You know what? This equals this divided by 7. Okay. Alright, so that's also close. We are getting so close here. We just need to figure out how to get like 2,000 more research points over the course of 7 turns. How hard can that be? How hard can that be? Just find me 200 spare research points that I can do from the beginning. Not even 200, like 180. Right, find me that. Hold on, 56. And then we're going to be good to go. Hold on. Did these guys have... they don't have Galactic Cybernet. Okay, I've got like random dudes here. And some of these places are kind of well developed, but they don't have a lot of industry banked. Actually, these guys are most industry banked, but they don't have max population. But if I bought a Galactic Cybernet here this turn, what would it take to get me a Galactic Cybernet? What would it take? Okay, so I can't do it all this turn, but I could buy it. I've got 800 bucks. How much money am I gonna need? I'm gonna have to like track the money that I'm spending here at some point. But if I bought that, just put these guys on research. That's an extra from 40 to 147. So that's an extra 107. So add 107 to this. We get 5336. And then with Galactic Cybernet, we're talking about an extra 3 per person. The extra 3 we add basically 150% onto that. There are, how many of them here? There's going to be 7. 7 times 3 times 2.5. Extra 52.5. $52.5 plus 107. That is 53, basically. That's going to turn into 160 extra. So add 160 to this. We get 851. And we are still too low. But These guys are going to produce another person. These guys are going to produce another person. These guys could easily produce another person. Right? So instead of 7, we could say 10 times 3 times 2.5 plus 107, 182. So add 182 to this. 873. Okay. So assume that's going to happen. We're going to add that to the plan. So this is what the spreadsheet looks like now. This is the number we need, this is the number we got, or alternatively, this is the number we need, this is the number we got. That's already a very high percentage chance of getting it. But I want it to be 100%. So, turn 0. All population, all spare population on wealthy to wealthy 2 by galactic cybernet at wealthy 2. All on research. Others on housing. Move housed population 2 on research. And that's happening next turn 1. And you know what is actually going to happen is that these guys are going to keep on housing. Right? This guy's going to be giving me 1 next turn, 1 the turn after that, 1 the turn after that. This one, sort of same thing. There's going to be a turn he skips. This guy, also kind of the same thing. So, 3 times 2.5. 3 times 2.5. 3 times 3 times 2.5. 3 times 3 times 2.5. Increase it by that amount each turn. So, give me another, like... Wait, did I only increase it there? I didn't increase it here. Oh, I didn't increase it here. Okay. Okay. So that's like an extra 22 each time. So it's like 58. This is an absolute mess of a spreadsheet. I apologize. 80. And I can add, like, let's say an extra 45 to this. I don't trust my own calculations anymore. I should have been a little bit more disciplined with how I'm doing my spreadsheet. But if we just assume it's that, okay, then we're here. Great, give me 100 more research points. Just from somewhere. Someone give me 100 research points. Oh wait, we're building Titans. Each Titan is giving me 50 research points per turn because of the Scout Lab. Alright, we did it, we're done. Right? What turns were those Titans scheduled to get built? Oh, but we're also refitting 4 trolls at some point. So that means we have to take a hit of 200 total, but the new ones we build are going to more than make up for that. Definitely, definitely. Like, just the one that I'm building at Selfish makes up for it, and then finishes, like, fills the gap. So, okay. If I do everything on this list, I am guaranteed to be able to research interphased fission within 7 turns. Wow. Okay. And then honestly, it's just a question of this stream is longer than I intended it to be. But so at that point, it is just a matter of filling the gaps, like using the sort of splash industry that we're going to have around here in order to build as many destroyers as possible to accompany all of those titans. And that, I think, is the plan. That's going to work. That hits Zabin with 8 cloak titans in 8 turns. And then Mentar the turn after that. I would love to strike Mentar directly, but I'm afraid that that's going to put me really close to subtle, so I think even if... So they'll definitely be visible if Mentar has a Star Fortress, which I don't know if he's going to build that quickly, but even if subtle has a battle station, I'm pretty sure that they see us flying by here, because like we spend the end of our turn right next to that system. So that is why we don't take the direct path and go straight to Mentar from here. If I did this, 7, 7, 7, it's kind of the same deal. We're going to end up like right around here. So, yeah. I think Zabin and then hit Mentar right away. He'll have very minimal time to prepare, and best part, because of the decoys, the rest of his fleet is going to be like over here dealing with my stupid little destroyers. I just had an idea. Okay, he's at antimatter plus, so that's 9 parsec limit. I'm gonna not send the one to Sung, because if his ships are at Sung, they can get to Mentar in 1 turn. I'm just gonna add a note at the top. Do not send the decoy to Sung. Okay. So if I guarantee that all of his decoys are at least more than 9 parsecs away from Mentar, then after the attack on Zabin, he cannot react quickly enough to defend. And that's the play. That is going to be Operation Overnight Shipping, and that is going to happen on Sunday. I will see if I can let you all know how it goes. At the very least, I will try to remember to go onto my YouTube and put a comment, like pin a comment on this video saying how it went. But I was thinking, maybe we evaluate what I would do if I wasn't going to do that. And, you know, I would go for the Clacons, I would have a totally different research path, maybe go for Moleculartronic. I need to capture adamantium from the Mechlars. I'm not going to research it. But we don't have time to talk about any of that right now. I spent enough time planning this, I might as well just commit to it, right? Yeah, well, that was it. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a bit of a different one, but thanks for tuning in, thanks for sharing your comments, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.